Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about using a 9mm AR for home defense. Is there ever a reason that you can use it or you should use it? So I love using 9mm ARs for training because the ammunition is cheaper. I can shoot the steel targets much closer. I can do some CQB work. But when it comes to home defense, I will generally tell people to use a 5.56 AR. But there are exceptions that I will accept, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the, certain circumstances where it might be a good idea for you to have a 9mm AR. Okay, so the first thing I will tell people is that listen, there's pros and cons to everything. Okay, the the reason why you would want to use a 5.56 AR is first of all it's they're mil spec, they're generally more reliable. The 5.56 and the 55 grain will tend to over penetrate less. Okay, so when I did tests where I lined up 7 barrels 15 feet apart, the 5.56 went through 3 barrels. The 9mm went through 4 barrels. Okay, so the 9mm will go through more barriers than a 5.56. On initial impact, the 5.56 has a lot more energy, but as it starts going through multiple barriers, the 5.56, which is a lighter bullet, breaks up. Okay, and I've seen that myself. I've tested it. I did a video on that a couple of years ago. So that's a reason why I will tell people to use the 5.56. But then people will come back and say, first of all, there's ways to get around the over penetration issue, right? Like, for example, in my home defense type of situation, I want to be at the top of my staircase, shooting down towards the basement. So over penetration is not an issue. I know where my bullets are going. They're going in the basement. Okay, so over penetration is not an issue there. I could use either one. Yeah, I'm shooting fairly close distance. 5.56. I mean, with the 9mm ARs, I can get out to 200 yards. Okay, I know what my holdovers are. You do need to practice with it to know what your holdovers are. Realistically, in the home defense type of situation, you'll be, obviously you'll be shooting a lot closer than that. But still, it's still preferable to a handgun because you can take extremely accurate shots with a rifle compared to a pistol. Okay, so the 9mm AR is the safer gun to use. It's the more accurate gun. You can put bullets where you want them to, not hit things that you don't want to. Now, as far as the reliability issue, you're always going to have a backup gun, right? So the rifle is going to be your primary. The pistol is going to be your backup gun. So regardless what gun we're using, we're always going to have a backup gun, okay? So that kind of deals with the reliability issue. Now, quite honestly, guys, if I'm going to the safe to get a rifle, right? Because normally I'm carrying a gun. But if I'm going to the extra step of going to the safe, it means I have time. I've got some time to think about it. I'm probably going to get 2 rifles, okay? And I'm going to probably stage 1 or 2 in different places throughout the house. So I'm probably coming back with more than just 1 rifle. But at the very least, I'm going to have 1 rifle on my body and a backup pistol on me. So that deals with the reliability issue. So let's talk about the reasons why people tell me that they would prefer to have a 9mm AR versus a 5.56. And again, this mostly is new shooters, people just getting into the game, buying their first guns. Because here's the thing, most of us that have been in this for a while, yeah, we got a couple of ARs that shoot 5.56, we got a few that shoot 9mm, we got tons of guns to pick from. But people that are just getting into this game, I basically have to tell them to get 1 rifle and 1 pistol up front. So what's that rifle going to be? I prefer that they get the 5.56, but there's some good reasons why they tell me that the 9mm makes a lot more sense for them. And I'm like, okay, let's hear it. Well, let's discuss it, okay? So the first reason is they want 2 guns where they can share the magazines and share the ammunition, okay? So both of these ones, right, take Glock mags. Okay, so that takes a Glock mag. This pistol over here takes Glock mags. So they like being able to use a gun that will share magazines and share ammunition. Okay, and that's I can stand that. That's very practical, especially for somebody that's just getting into the game, right? They're just buying their first guns. I can understand why that would be a concern. You tell people, okay, you're going to get this gun and that gun, but then you got to get a whole bunch of different magazines for this gun versus the other gun, and different ammunition. A lot of times that tends to become information overload. People, even people that don't know guns, have heard of 9mm. Non-gun people have not heard of 5.56. But lots of people, even non-gun people, know 9mm. So that's another reason why they're going to kind of gravitate towards the 9mm. Okay, so it's a lot easier to get beginners into the game that way. Now, the other reason why a lot of times people will prefer the 5.56 is because they will prefer the 9mm is because that's the only thing that they can shoot at their range. They cannot shoot 5.56 at their range. Okay, so they can get to their local range, once, twice, 3 times a month, and practice with their 9mm AR. But they cannot do that with their 5.56. 5.56, they gotta travel a lot further, go to an outdoor range where they can shoot it. They can only do that a couple of times a year. So a lot of people are going to be a lot more practiced with the 9mm AR than with the 5.56. So that's a significant reason. So more the second one, right? The first one where they're sharing magazines and ammunition, I can say, hey, dude, that's not a big hump to get over, okay? But the second one where they're telling me that from a training perspective, they can only go to a pistol range on a regular basis and they can only shoot 9mm. There, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Get the 9mm AR. You're going to practice more with it. You're going to get better with it. Okay, so that makes 100%. That's what 100% sense to get a 9mm AR if you're only able to access a range where you can shoot pistol ammunition. Okay, so that's why a lot of people that I train end up with 9mm. They live in cities. They have to travel a bit to get to outdoor ranges where they can shoot 5.56. So that's significant. Now, there are a few things that people have to be aware of if they're going to use the 9mm AR. Okay, so 9mm ARs are usually a straight blowback, which means that it doesn't have a rotating bolt to cushion the explosion that happens inside the chamber. These palmettos that I typically get, they come with I think it's a 4-ounce buffer weight. Okay, I usually change that to an 8-ounce. So the heavier buffer weight cushions the gun a little bit. Before I was doing that, I was breaking hammer pins a lot. I was breaking hammer pins, and I think I broke the extractor. So when I switched over to the heavier buffer weight, the gun became a lot more reliable. So that's one of the first things that I want to make people aware of. You got to test the gun out. It's probably going to work better with a heavier buffer weight. The 8-ounce buffer weight costs about $30. Is probably what's going to work for you, especially if you're using a palmetto, because I have lots of palmettos and I have lots of experience with them. Okay, so that's the first thing. Switching out the buffer weight to 8 ounces. The second thing that people need to be aware of if you're going to use a 9mm AR is most of them do not have a last round bolt hold open. Okay, so after the gun goes dry, the bolt doesn't lock back. So with a standard 5.56, you're shooting, boom, 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 gun stops working, you turn it to the side, you see that it's locked open, you see it's empty, you drop your mag, you put the next one in, okay? With the 9mm AR, because it doesn't lock open on the last round, you don't know if you have an empty gun or if you have a jammed gun, okay? So what you have to do if you're shooting is, before you try to put a magazine in there, open it up, look at it, put the magazine in there, and then chamber it around, okay? So it has that extra step. Now, of course, if you're in a gunfight and the gun stops working, you're going to go to your backup gun, right? You're not going to try to change a magazine out or get the gun up and running again if you're in the middle of a gunfight at relatively close distance. I mean, if you're in a gunfight across 200 yards, yeah, of course you're gonna, get your rifle back up and running. But at close distances, we're going to switch to the pistol, okay? But if when we have time to go back to the rifle, we need to open it up and check it and see what happened, why the gun stopped working, okay? Because we don't have the benefit of the gun locking open for us where we can do the quick, oh, I can see what happened, drop the mag, get the next one in, okay? So I'm gonna do a demonstration, right? So what I'll usually do is I'll lock the gun open, right? Put the safety on. So that's our lock and load, okay? I have just locked the gun open, just sent the bolt home, right? Safety's on. So this is my starting position. So I'm gonna shoot my target over there. Okay, gun stopped working. I don't know why. I'll drop the magazine, open it up, look at it, okay? Then I'll take the next magazine, put it in, give it a tug, chamber it around, come up, okay, and then put your safety on when you're done, okay? So that's an important step. We're running the charging handle twice, okay? Once to check the chamber, and then a second time to chamber the rounds. So let's do this one more time, okay? So I have a gun here. I know there's not too many rounds in it. Let's try this out. Gun stopped working, drop the mag, open it up, look in my chamber. I can see that the chamber's clear. Get it in, give it a tug, chamber it around, come up, okay, and I'm good. So you have to add that extra step. First, pull, and that's where it becomes really convenient to have this extended charging handle to open it up so you can see your chamber. The only thing is that it works, the extended charging handle, right, the oversized charging handle works great in the wintertime when you have a jacket on. In the summertime when you're wearing a t-shirt, this basically sticks into your gut, okay? So there's be aware of that cost benefit, okay? But certainly for a home defense type of situation, yeah, you probably want the extended charging handle because you can keep doing those fast. You know, you can quickly keep looking this open, opening this up, looking in the chamber, making sure there's nothing in there. Get it in, give it a tug, get the round over there, safety off. Okay. So that's something that you need to work into your drills, okay? Let's do this again, two more. Okay, these are empty mags. Now, if you look over here, you definitely want to use the Glock mags for home defense because they have the steel lips. The bolts that go forward on the 9mm ARs can be very hard on the feed lips. So if you look at the plastic one here, right? So I've got two plastic ones over here. You can see how the bolt wears down on the feed lips. Let me get behind the camera so you can see better. You can see how that wears them down a little bit over time, okay? So these are fine for training, but for home defense, you definitely want to have the Glock mags that have the steel lips here, which are going to be less prone to getting worn down by the bolt. So again, that's also one of those things that you have to be aware of, okay? So again, we get a mag in here, right? So the procedure is, right, we're shooting bang, 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 gun stops working, drop the mag, open up the chamber, look at it, get the next one in, give it a tug, run your bolt, come up, bang, 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 okay? Now, and one thing I'm going to add is for training purposes, when I'm training people, right, what I will do, I'll do it this way so you guys can see me. What I will typically do is while I'm shooting, right, bang, 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 drop the mag, open up the bolt, I'll put the safety on at that point. If I'm in a gunfight, I'm not going to put the safety on because I'm engaged. I will put the safety on at that point, okay? This way, and then come up, take your safety off. So that way, I have that extra step of teaching people to work with the safety. So that's what I will typically do when I'm training people. So I hope this information was useful. I hope you all enjoyed it. Drop some comments below. So just to go over it again, the two reasons why I think some people might want to use a 9mm AR instead of a 5.56 is because of the shared Glock magazines between the PCC and the handgun, but more importantly because the range that they're able to access on a regular basis may only allow them to shoot pistol ammunition, and that's a very significant reason to have a 9mm PCC or 9mm AR, because the gun that you practice more with and you're better with is going to be more valuable to you than a theoretically better gun that you don't get to practice very often with. So thanks for watching. Drop some comments below. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you all soon.